Welcome students. Now we shall be starting with our next class of drugstore and business management. In the previous class we had studied about sole proprietorship, joint Hindu family business, and in brief about the various forms of business organization. In this class we shall be starting with the partnership firm. Now, what is a partnership firm? According to the Indian Partnership Act 1932, partnership is defined as relation between two or more persons who have agreed to share profit of the business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. It is known as partnership, or it is defined as partnership. Formation. Partnership can be formed either verbally or via written agreement. Nowadays the verbal communication is not considered safe at all. So always a written agreement is done between partners, which is known as a partnership deed or simply a deed. The written agreement is known as partnership deed. Now, what does a partnership deed contains? It includes the terms and conditions relating to the partnership. It includes the terms and conditions relating to the partnership. The next comes the regulation governing its internal management. Now, how will be the business house managed? It means the policies, or we can simply say division of powers among partners. Then the rights and duties of the partner, what a partner will have to do in the business or organization. What are the various characteristics or important features of partnership? Let us start. The number one is minimum two number of partners. A minimum of two number of partners and a maximum of 20 partners can be there in a partnership firm. The next is the relation between the partners. The relation between the partners is created in the form of contract. Written contract is called as partnership deed. Now, this is known as partnership deed, written contract. Next comes the firm means partners and the partner means the firms. So, it is a quite bit of confusing in nature. It means all the partners are considered to be firm and the firm collectively is a sum of all the partners in case of legal obligations. The profit is divided in as ratio agreed. It has to be mentioned in the partnership deed in what ratio the partners are working. For example, two partners are working in 50-50 ratio, so the profit will be shared 50-50. Or if one partner has invested more capital than the other, the ratio can different. For example, 70-30, it generally is based on the nature of or investment of capital. The next is no partner can transfer his interest in the firm. See, no partner can sell or transfer his interest in the firm to anyone without the consent of other partner. For example, if there are 5 partners in a business having 20% share each, and one of the partner is going to leave the business, so he cannot transfer his 20% share to anyone. It is not possible. It can be transferred on the basis of consent, of the all other partners. Now, what are the advantages? Number one, easy formation. The formation of partnership is easy because partners can form a firm on the basis of mutual understanding or mutual consent. Larger resources. If 5 partners are investing 20 lakh rupees each, so a sum of, for example, a sum of 1 crore can be achieved easily, which is not possible in case of sole proprietorship. Not possible. Then the sharing of risk. As the profit is shared, so the risk or losses are also shared. Then comes the better management and flexibility of operation. For example, a business house is running 5 production capacities or 5 production industries. So, if a partnership firm is having 5 partners, each partner can manage a single production house, which offers better management and inflexibility of operations. Next comes no corporate income tax. Last one is subject to fewer regulation as compared to other companies. Now, as advantages, there are certain disadvantages also associated with a partnership firm. These are unlimited liability, limited life, difficulty to raise the capital, and chances of dispute. So, these are some minor partnership disadvantages, but the advantages are more as compared to disadvantages. Now, what are the various kinds of partners? What are various kinds of partners? We will have a look on everyone. The number one is general partners. What is general partners? All the partners who are participating in the working of the firm and are responsible to join with other partners for liabilities. Number one, liabilities. Number two, obligation. And number three, defects of the firm. These are known as general partners. Now, these are known as general partners. Now, the next comes limited partners. The second is the limited partners. The liabilities for debts, or it is pronounced as debts. B is silent. The liability of debts of limited partners is limited to the extent of their contributed capital in case of limited partners. Now, if a partnership works on the basis of limited partners and a person has invested only 10% share, then he is liable to pay only 10% of the debts. Then comes the third, active or managing partners. These are important. Active partners are those who take active part in the management and formulation of the policies, generally the board of directors. Then comes the sleeping and silent partners. Now, from the name it is very clear, they do not take any active part in the business. See, they don't take any active part in the business. They simply contribute to the capital and get their share in the profit of the firm. So, what is the benefit of a sleeping or a silent partner? The benefits are they don't interfere. They don't interfere in the policies of the management, but they provide an ample amount of resources, which are quite beneficial. Then comes the nominal partner. Now, what is a nominal partner? They lend their reputed name for the company's reputation. Sometimes a name or a brand is considered more valuable. It is considered more valuable rather than the money. So it directly affects the company's reputation, the market face value, we can say. They do not invest the money and do not take any active part in the management. We can say the brand ambassadors can be considered as nominal partners. Then comes minor partners. Minor partners. Minor is on the basis of age. This is age related. Minor partners are those whose age is below 18 years and associated with the business. Such partners can be allowed only with the consent of other partners. Their liability is limited to their investment. Now their liability is limited to their investment. It is oftenly seen in the family businesses which are running a very large business. So they generally nominate their minor children. Now how we will distinguish between the individual ownership and a partnership? As we all know, individual ownership refers to sole proprietorship. Here we are referring to the sole proprietorship. Number 1, membership. It is an individual owner. These are minimum 2 to 50 in number. Then formation. For sole proprietorship, no agreement is required, no legal obligation. But for a partnership firm, a partnership deed is required. Sole proprietorship can work on limited capital, smaller amounts, but partnership generally requires larger investment or large capital. Registration of sole proprietorship is not necessary, where partnership firm have to register with the Partnership Act of India. Then comes the risk. The individual owner in sole proprietorship bears all the risk. The risk standards are quite high, whereas in a partnership firm the risk is divided between the partners. Now on the basis of profit, the sole proprietorship, the owner enjoys all the profit, whereas the profit is shared among partners in a partnership firm. Next is the management. Owner manages the complete business. The complete power to manage the business resides in the hands of the owner of the firm, whereas in case of partnership, the management responsibilities are shared. Shared responsibilities and duties. I hope you will be clear with the difference in the sole proprietorship and partnership. The next one is the joint stock company. The joint stock company. Now what is the joint stock company? As from the name, it suggests that a joint stock company is a legal business. It is a legal business owned by the shareholders, having limited liabilities and managed by an elected board of directors. The shares are transferable. The joint stock companies are not much in India, but they generally provide a better option for running a business rather than a partnership firm. Now what are the various characteristic features of joint stock company? Number 1, the company is created by registering or incorporating an association of persons under the Company Act. Next, it has a separate legal existence as distinct from its members. Now, why it is different? In the previous two forms of business organization, that is sole proprietorship and partnership firm, it was considered by law that the ownership is the firm and the firm is the ownership for sole proprietorship, and the partners are the firm and the firm refers the partners for the partnership firm. But in case of joint stock company, both are distinct aspects and are having individual existence of their own. The third is the artificial personality, enabling it to exercise certain legal powers. Now, certain legal power resides only with the name of the company rather than the board of directors. Number 4, perpetual life and a very stable existence. The existence is stable. It has a common seal on which its name is engraved, and this seal acts as its signature. Now, the signature of the firm refers to the name of the company rather than name of any individual. Then comes, there is a complete separation of ownership from management, separate concept. Liability of shareholder is limited to the extent of stakeholding, and lower tax liabilities. So, the tax liabilities are quite low in case of joint stock company. Now, what are the various advantages and disadvantages of a joint stock company? Number 1, the limited liability of shareholder or promoter is a major advantage. It is a major advantage. The liabilities are limited. Can easily raise the capital. Why? Because joint stock company can make public shares to raise the funds. Have unlimited life and ease of transfer. The shares can be, or the ownership, or we can say the partnership in this case, can be transferred easily. Then comes the disadvantages. Number 1 is the formation is not an easy task. The formation of a joint stock company is not an easy. It includes various restrictions and legal bindings. Next, excessive government regulation. It sometimes lend to more restrictions. Then comes subject to corporate tax and dividend tax. So, a policy of double taxation occurs. The company has to pay the corporate tax and the individuals have to pay the dividend tax. Then comes delay in policy decisions, because the policies or the policy makers are quite large in number. We can say the board of directors. So, there is always a delay in making the decision of the concerned policy. Next, controlled by a group. So, in case of a group control, clashes can occur which can lead to no outcomes or delayed results. Now, what are the various types of corporations? The various types of corporations are, we can say the joint stock company. These are of two types, public and private. What is a private company? It is closely held by a few people, whereas a public company, the stocks are held by a large number of people. A large number of people are the shareholders of the company. Next, in case of private company, minimum 2 and maximum 50 shareholders can occur. The range is 2 to 50. But for a public company, the minimum shareholders and no limit for maximum. Minimum and maximum limits are not mentioned. For a private company, the stocks cannot be traded or exchanged, and private equity cannot be raised. But in case of public company, can be listed on stock exchange and can go for public to raise the funds, for raising of funds. The next is the less regulation as compared to public companies, but public companies have to follow many laws with this regards to the board composition, and have to answer various regulatory authorities for proper functioning. Now, how the finance is raised? Let us see how the finance is raised. Funds can be taken from banks in form of loans, and finance corporations, they also provide a kind of personal loans. in the form of either loans or by selling the shares and debentures. It is mentioned here. Now, what is the organization's structure? A joint stock company has shareholders which are classified as board of directors. These board of directors constitute three type of sections. Number 1, auditor, number 2, executive committee, and number 3, bankers. Now, auditors, they generally audit financial accounts and they just help to create a proper structure for finance of the company. The second is the executive committee. The executive committee is generally headed by a general manager. It includes number 1, sales department, then purchase department, then accounting, and then production. Now, what are bankers? They solely deal with the purpose of finances and capital investment. In the upcoming chapters, we will deal about various types of banking facilities and other things. Now, in the next class, we shall be studying about the comparison between private and public limited companies and the fourth form of business organization known as cooperative societies. Till then, this is sufficient for your topic of partnerships and joint stock companies. So, revise it and clarify your doubts. For any doubt or for more understanding, you can refer to the textbook, and if there is anything you don't understand, you can message me in the comment box. So, revise it and we shall be starting with the next topic in our next class.